I'm calling my shot on 7 wheelguns that are spiking in value, using real trends from Rock Island and Morphy hammer prices, Blue Book valuations, and GunBroker sold listings. No cap. I'll break down why pre-lock S&Ws, early Colt Pythons, and scarce limited runs are tightening supply with documented collector demand so you can snag the smart buys before the sticker shock hits. What's up? This is Luke from Line 45. Today, we're diving into the revolvers that are climbing fast in value and might just turn into your smartest gun investment yet. Before we dive in, do me a solid. Smash that subscribe, tap the bell, hit all the dang buttons down there. You don't gotta, but it keeps this train rolling and lets me crank out more of this wild gun talk for y'all. Alright, enough of that. Let's get back to it. Smith & Wesson Model 19 Combat Magnum. I'm kicking this off with the Model 19 because the facts line up clean. This K-frame, 357, started life in 1955 as the Combat Magnum, with Border Patrol legend Bill Jordan pushing the concept, and S&W stamped it Model 19 in 1957. Early guns have pinned barrels and recessed cylinders up to the early 80 seconds. Barrel lengths show up in 2.5, 4, and 6 inches, and the stainless twin is the Model 66. Cops ran these hard through the 60 seconds and 70 seconds, which is why clean, matching numbers examples with original grips, boxes, and papers are getting scarce. Add the well-documented forcing cone wear on hot 125-grain loads, and you get a lot of shooters with cosmetic or mechanical miles, while the mint ones get separated and bid up. Here's why I think prices keep climbing. Pre-lock S&Ws have a documented premium, and the 19 sits in the sweet spot of carryable size with magnum chambering, so demand hits both collectors and shooters. Auction houses like Rock Island and Morphy consistently spotlight early pinned and recessed 19 seconds, and Blue Book tracks higher valuations for correct, original finish guns with factory target hammers and triggers. GunBroker sold listings show steady activity for snub 2.5-inch and classic 4-inch barrels, especially when the target stocks and red ramp front sight are still factory. Provenance and condition move the needle fast, no cap. If you're hunting, bet on pre-81 pinned and recessed, matching serials on frame, yoke, and grips, crisp timing and lockup, and factory letters when you can get them. Boxed police trade-ins with honest holster wear are still buyable, and those clean survivors are trending up. Colt Python, pre-1994 and modern limited runs. I'm planting the flag here because the Python checks every collector box. Debuted in 1955, hand-fitted at Colt with that V-spring action and the vent rib, full-lug barrel, the gun earned its bank vault lockup rep for a reason. Royal blue polish on the early carbon steel guns looks like black chrome under studio lights, and nickel examples with factory paperwork are getting tougher to find. Production on the classic line wound down by the early 2000s, and the original Python nameplate went quiet until Colt brought a redesigned stainless version back in 2020. That split in eras is huge for value, no cap. Here's why the older ones keep climbing. Auction houses consistently hammer strong numbers for first-decade Pythons, rare barrel lengths like 3-inch and 8-inch, and pristine 2.5-inch snubs with the correct walnut target stocks and Colt medallions. The custom shop Python Elite runs from the late 90 seconds, has already been trending higher than standard production. Factory archive letters move the needle, and matching boxes with end labels that line up to the serials will spike bids fast. Meanwhile, the modern reissue brought fresh eyes to the name, which actually pushes collectors back toward pre-2000 originals. Scarcity plus renewed demand is a simple equation. If you're hunting, I look for crisp roll marks, a sharp crown, correct sight blades, and timing that carries up clean when I stage the trigger. Check that the serial on the frame matches the crane, watch for overbuffed edges on refinished jobs, and make sure the grips match the era. A legit Colt letter is worth the wait, and a bright, honest royal blue example with its papers is the kind of buy that ages well. Ruger Super Blackhawk, early flat top, 44 mag classics. I'm locking in the Super Blackhawk because early old model guns have the right mix of scarcity and features that collectors chase. Ruger launched the Super Blackhawk in 1959 as the heavy-duty 44 mag single action with an unfluted cylinder, a beefy top strap, and the Dragoon-style grip frame to tame recoil. The old model 3-screw action ran until 1973 before Ruger switched to the new model transfer bar system. Standard barrels were 7.5 inches, with later new model options like 10.5 inches for silhouette. Factory pre-warning barrels. From before, Ruger added the instruction manual roll mark in the late 70 seconds, pull a premium, and the few factory brass grip frame guns from the early 72nds are legit unicorns. No cap. Here's why I see prices trending up. Clean, unconverted old models with their original lockwork and parts are getting harder to find because Ruger offered free safety conversions for decades, and a lot of shooters took the deal. Boxes, shipper sleeves, and matching end labels jack values fast, and the market favors high-condition bluing with sharp edges and correct walnut panels. Single-action 44s also sit in a sweet spot for handgun hunters and retro shooters, so demand isn't just safe queen energy. When you add limited early variants and low attrition of mint survivors, supply stays tight while new buyers show up. Bet that keeps the graph pointed north. If I'm hunting one, I check for tight cylinder lockup, minimal end shake, proper base pin fit, and a square crown. I want the serial to fall in the 1959-1973 old model range, verify the action hasn't been overstoned, and look for factory letters on oddball features. A boxed, unconverted 3-screw with honest blue and crisp roll marks is exactly the kind of Super Blackhawk that ages like money. Smith & Wesson Model 2, 9 Dirty Harry era. I'm putting the Model 29 on this list because the numbers and history line up too clean to ignore. S&W launched the .44 Magnum in 1955 on the N-frame as the Model 29, with early production wearing that deep blue, target hammer and trigger options, and barrel lengths like 4, 6.5, and 8/3/8 inches. The 1971 film spike is real and documented, and the 29-2 revision from the mid-60 seconds through the early 80 seconds is the sweet spot most collectors chase. Pre-198 two-pinned barrels and recessed cylinders pull a premium, and nickel guns with correct target stocks and the blue two-piece presentation case trend higher when the label matches the serial. Early Coke bottle targets, red ramp front and white, outline rear sights, and clean roll marks are all value multipliers, no cap. Here's why I think the curve keeps rising. Big bore wheel guns are hot again for hunters and steel plate shooters, and the Model 29 is the pop culture flagship with real performance chops. Auction catalogs consistently call out high-condition 2.9-2 examples, and strong hammer prices follow when you add provenance, boxes, tools, and factory letters. Survivors with original finishes are naturally shrinking because a lot of 29 seconds got carried or Magnum fed for decades, so minty examples become the supply bottleneck. Stainless 629 interest actually helps the 29, since it brings more eyes to the platform and pushes collectors back toward the classic blue. If I'm buying, I check timing on a slow trigger pull, look for minimal end shake, inspect the top strap for flame cutting, and make sure the crown is square. I want matching serials on the frame, yoke cut, and inside the right grip, plus correct era stocks. A boxed, pinned, and recessed 29-2 with honest blue and tight lockup is the kind of piece that appreciates while you sleep, bet. Colt Single Action Army, original roll marked era. Every time I dig into Colt auction data, one thing jumps out. First generation single action armies are climbing like crazy. These are the OGs from 1,873 to 1,941. Built when Colt was still turning out hand-fitted guns for both the cavalry and frontier market. Early black powder frame guns with serials under 165,000 and correct roll marks from Hartford are especially hot right now. Collectors look for matching serial numbers on the frame, trigger guard, and backstrap, and that's getting harder every year since most surviving examples were carried, refinished, or parted out over time. You can trace this demand directly through Rock Island and Morphy's sale records. A legit US inspected cavalry SAA can crack 6 figures, and even late first-generation civilian guns with tight lockup, clean bores, and real patina are pulling 5 to 10 grand easily. Provenance is the cheat code here. If you've got a Colt factory letter tying that revolver to a military shipment, or better yet, a documented owner from the frontier or early film era, it moves value by thousands. No cap. When I inspect one, I check that the screws haven't been over-polished, that the cylinder seam hasn't been buffed flat, and that the firing pin bushing hasn't been swapped for modern parts. Honest wear beats fake restoration every time. A verified first-gen Colt SAA in original configuration isn't just old steel. It's 19th century Americana sitting in your safe, and the prices are backing that up hard. Smith & Wesson N-frame. It's easy to slot the 629 here because the early stainless Magnums are ticking all the collector boxes at once. The 629 launched around 1,000. 979 as the stainless twin to the blued Model 29. with early production offering 4, 6, and 8 3/8-inch barrels, and, on the first runs, the same pinned barrel and recessed cylinder features that S&W dropped across the line in 1982. The -3 endurance package, upgrades that hit by the very late 80 seconds into the early 90 seconds, solved durability complaints from heavy 44 loads, and that engineering bump matters to shooters who actually run these hard. Add in scarce distributor specials, like the Lou Horton 3-inch round butt run from 1,985, the classic DX accuracy selected guns with test targets in the early 90 seconds, and the lightweight profile 629 mountain gun mid-90 seconds, and you've got multiple sub-variants with proven demand, no cap. Why I think values are climbing fast. Stainless keeps condition longer, so high-grade survivors exist, but pre-lock examples with correct boxes, tools, and papers are getting absorbed by collectors. The Lou Horton snubs and classic DX models keep showing strong premiums because they combine shootability with scarcity, and mountain guns bring in hunters who want that tapered barrel and carry weight. Pre-2001 examples avoid the frame lock and typically draw more eyes, while anything pinned and recessed sits on a higher ledge. That spread creates a ladder where clean, documented early guns get bid up first and the rest follow. When I'm shopping, I check end shake with a feeler, slow roll the trigger to confirm carry up, and look for top strap cutting or forcing cone erosion from hot loads. I measure cylinder throats to see if they run in that 42-9-4-3-1 zone for accuracy, verify barrel length and roll marks, match the end label, and confirm stocks are period correct. Boxed, pre-lock 629 seconds in legit original trim, especially a Horton 3-inch or a classic DX with its test target, are the sleeper wins that age like money. Limited run specialty revolvers. Limited run revolvers are a real collector engine right now because they combine documented scarcity with factory-backed provenance. I'm talking about Smith & Wesson Performance Center runs, Lou Horton and Lipsy's distributor specials, Colt Custom Shop and Python Elite editions, and small batch Talo or dealer exclusive Colt and Ruger releases. Most of those runs, numbered in the low hundreds to a few thousand, came with unique barrel profiles, tuned actions, special sights, or engraved divided by rolled finish options, and often shipped with bespoke end labels and presentation cases. Because they were never mass-produced, any survivor that still has its box, papers, medallions, or test targets becomes an instant premium piece in the market. You can see the trend in realized sales and dealer catalogs. Collectors consistently pay up for documented exclusives and guns with factory letters that confirm unusual options. Limited runs pull in two buyer types at once: the shooter who wants a tuned, out-of-the-box performer, and the investor who wants a provable scarcity story. That combo tightens supply fast because a lot of these guns actually got used, traded, or parted out, so pristine, low-mile, original trim examples are rare enough to push auction prices, and private sale asks higher every year. When I'm shopping for these, I get obsessive about verification. I want the dash number and SKU to match the end label, the medallion or stamp that identifies the run, original grips and screws, and a factory letter if one exists. I slow roll the action to verify the tune, check timing, cylinder gap and crown, and photo the serial, end label, and any test target together. If the case, certificate, and original invoice are present, that gun is already on a different value tier. Boxed, papered, low-mile examples from boutique runs are the ones I'm watching. Those are the sleepers that pop first.